Right, ladies and gentlemen, Easter is over and it is time to get back to business. That's right, it's Tactical Tuesday, and it's an opportunity for us to get back in the swing of things, even though there are plenty of us still on school holidays. I've got three little monkeys in next door, and we went to Time Zone today. That was a fantastic thing. There was a lot of noise. I won the Dance machine. Actually, no, I won air hockey, but I competed in Dance Revolution, and I think I did pretty well. But if you are watching this in replay, leave a replay in the comments because I would love to know who is watching. If you are here live on the call, and I can see a couple of you on the call, give me a little wave or say hello in the comments as well. I'd love to see who is live here. Because today we're going to be talking about social media, and we're going to be talking about how to get more engaging and more effective in the way we go about delivering and engaging the ideal clients that are out there with social media. So let me get started. Welcome to Tactical Tuesday. My name is Russell Pearson, and if you don't know who the hell I am, for the last 25 years I've been working in the spaces of promotion, marketing and sales, and now I go live every single Tuesday in the Future Proof Business Group here on Facebook. Now, if you're not on Facebook, you can also get this probably wherever you're watching it, on YouTube or LinkedIn, a couple of other places like that. But if you want to see it live, definitely come and join the Future Proof Business Group here on Facebook. It's a fantastic group that has all sorts of experts, really, specialists in what they do, and they're all involved in business. So specialist service providers, advisors, consultants, plenty of people like that, and that may be you. So if it is you, come on over and join in the group. We have a number of little live events. We do Tactical Tuesday every week, and we've got a couple of events like the social media event that I've got coming up in a couple of weeks. Now, if that's of interest to you, put in the chat that you would like to be invited, because I will personally go and send you an invite and get the link to you to make sure that you know when that is. Because what it's all about is how to go and create a social media marketing campaign, a social media marketing plan that actually does what probably most of us want it to do, which is engage ideal clients into our business. Now, there are all sorts of reasons why people are doing social media out there, but most of the people I'm speaking to, that's the number one reason. That is the one thing that they want it to do, which is to engage new customers. So the question I've got for you is, what are you doing in the social media space? What is being effective? And potentially, what's one of the frustrations? Over on LinkedIn, I put a little poll up there about some of the frustrations that I know people are having with social media marketing, and we're going to get a poll on which ones are the most frustrating. Some of those include the consistency needed to be successful in social media marketing, or the concept that people need to be consistent. Not being able to come up with enough content. That's one I hear a lot, that I don't have enough content, or I'm not creative enough to come up with things that are going to be engaging for my ideal target market. I hear that a lot. A number of people are saying I don't see tangible results, like I've got views and I've got likes, and sometimes I have some conversations, but I'm not actually capturing clients. And other people are saying it's just taking too long, that they're out there doing it consistently and they're actually putting high quality content out onto the web, but they're not getting the results that they should be expecting. Okay. Now, there's a number of reasons why that's happening, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Really, the four things that will transform, really, poor social media marketing into really effective social media marketing. And what it's going to do is help you look at social media marketing a very different way to make sure that it is intentional and that you're not just doing it because you feel like you have to do it. All right, so again, if you're watching this live, I can see a whole bunch of you there now. Put into the chat that you're here, say hello. I get to see who's on the call. But let me talk about these four things. So social media marketing is not just, all right, should I be doing more video? Or should I be writing more articles? Or should I be on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok? I've actually been on TikTok more recently. Funnily enough, it's been a really good process to be working in TikTok because it enables me to create really good content that flows through into many of the other channels where I wouldn't normally do it before. So it's a good practice for me. But I'm not saying you need to do that. My point is, it's not about any of the individual tactics. That's kind of the overall thing, is it's not about these tactics. G'day, Christine. Good to see you there. It's fantastic to actually have you in any room that I am a part of. I'm going to pull over this board because I want to talk about the 4 things that I think are the most important when looking at social media marketing in general. And the first one is being specific about what audience you're talking to. So, number 1, specific audience. That's a C, believe it or not. Specific audience. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there are people out there who are positioning themselves for what they do, what they're an expert in, but they're not aiming their content towards any one individual. Now, I'm not even talking about an avatar, because that's what a lot of people do. It's trendy to have avatars, which is sort of like a demographic that has a certain psychographic to it. But I'm even talking about something just as specific as like, all right, this content's for accountants. I always talk about that a lot. I don't know why, but I like accountants. Or this content is for painters, the trades painters, right? Or this content is for first home buyers. Or this content is for, let's say, specialist service providers, right? Being clear about who it's for is massive because who is right up the top. Well, you might have a why as to why you go about do what you do, but who you're doing it for is more important when it comes to the content, because if you're creating content that speaks to everyone, in actual fact, it's speaking to no one. It may speak to someone who goes, I need that thing right now, but it's just like 1% of 1% of the people who are engaged with you. Yet if you call out to a specific audience, people go, oh, that's me. One of the audiences that I work with is safety professionals, so people in the OHS and injury management space. And so I call out safety professionals in some of the work that I do, a specific audience. Because the cool thing about a specific audience is if you are specific, then and you know who your audience are, then you know where they are. In fact, that is my definition of knowing that you have a specific enough audience, that you can define this is where they are. This is where I can communicate with them. So that's kind of my litmus test on having a specific enough audience is, can you identify where they are specifically, so you know whether either to advertise or you know where to put this content, which is about your social media marketing, right? So number 1 is specific. Number 2 is define what will happen. What does that mean? Well, that means that you've got a specific thing that you want them to do off the back of your content. So you don't have content there just to have people know, like, and trust you. All right? So there is an element in marketing that you may or may not have heard of, know, like, and trust. And it's the idea that no one can actually work with you unless they know who you are. Very true. No one's going to work with you unless they like you. Again, very true. And no one's going to give you a lifetime of business unless they trust you. Each of those things is true. But the purpose of doing this social media marketing should not just be about know, like, and trust. It should not just be about nurture. There should be a specific step, a specific thing that you want them to do off the back of it so that you're moving people closer to a sale. Now, defining what will happen or what should happen off the back of your content really comes down to knowing what your sales process is. So if you don't know that here's the sale, and the sale, let's say in some cases, is going to involve an invoice, and before the invoice we get a yes agreement on what we're actually going to do. Maybe there's even some sort of proposal, although I've got a whole issue on proposals, but let's say that's the thing. Stepping before that, there's a conversation. Stepping before that, we have some sort of qualification that it is the right person we should be speaking to. Stepping before that, maybe they joined an event of ours. You need to know at what point in the sales process you want them to step in from this social media marketing. And so defining what should happen, what will happen, is a really, really crucial step. Because if you're saying just randomly, come at me however you want, people won't. And so you've got so many people, and it kills me, right? Because I work especially in the speaking space. There are so many experts out there who are creating authority. So authorities type content marketing, where they're being positioned as the person who knows stuff about this subject. And then they're waiting for people to raise their hand and say, I need what you've got, I'll come to you. But that, in actual fact, I'm talking about 25 years plus worth of experience, rarely happens. which again why you've got 1% of 1% conversion rates for the content marketing that people are doing, because they're expecting someone to actually come to them when they're putting all this authority content out there. So what I say to people is stop doing authority content unless you have a sales process. Because if you've got a sales process that works, you know how you want people to engage with you. Because most of the time, they're not going to come to you. You're going to need to somehow come to them. And a lot of the time, that can be having conversations behind the scenes, actually engaging them in events, having them in other conversations outside of social media. And one of the things I always talk about when it comes to social media, it's much like, I probably shouldn't say this, it's much like murder. You want to make sure that you move the body. You want to move people off social media and onto another space, whether it be another platform or whether it actually be a conversation on Zoom or a phone call or 100 other ways, maybe it's even email, but you want to move them from social media to somewhere else. If you don't know where that place is, then you've got to really look at your sales process and really ask yourself, what are the steps and where do I want people to enter the process? So that's number 2. Number 3 is you need to measure the results. Measure results. So you need to know how many people took that first step, and from that first step, how many people took the next and the next and the next and the next. Now, in my world, with my campaigns, I tend to have a number of social media things out there which I measure to say, all right, if these things are true, will they build on the next thing? And that's how I've created my sales process in itself. So an example will be, how many connections am I making in the social media space? If I'm not making any connections, guess what? I don't have any new people entering my world. I don't have any new people stepping into the know of the know, like, trust. If I don't do that, I don't have more opportunity in my business. So I measure that result, connections. All right, from there, I then measure engagement. How many people on this post said hello? I'd love you to say hello, by the way. I'm not trying to push you, but I just want to get a sense of how many people are looking at this content and finding it useful. Because I measure the engagement of those things. The reason engagement is so important is it gives me opportunity to just see who is around and who's interested in what I'm doing. It's really, it's incredibly frustrating for me when I create really valuable content and the person goes, oh, this was really valuable. But then they say, I wish I would have used you earlier. When I find out that they never commented, they never engaged in anything, but they used some of the stuff I had shown them, put it into their own business, and actually lost the opportunity of me helping me personally with the nuance. Because sometimes people can just reach out and go, Russell, how does this specifically work for my business? And I show them in like 15 minutes, and then they run off and they actually implement it. But most people aren't doing that. Most people are sitting behind the scenes. So one of the things that I measure is making sure that I'm getting engagement in my social media process. And then the next step is how many people are stepping through whatever the call to action is. Now, that doesn't mean you need some nonsense call to action at the end of it, just click here to do this. That does work from time to time, but if every single post is click here to do this, it gets repetitive, right? Rose, Sesh, fantastic to see you as well. Thank you again. It's really good to know who's watching. So the really critical thing is going, all right, what is the call to action? Now, you might not ever say, subscribe to my podcast. You might never ever say, come to this event. You might never say, something along the line of join my group. But everything inside that post needs to cause that to happen. All right, and that's the next step. So we measure the results, and then 4, and hopefully you can see 4, that'll be there, yep. 4 is we create content to make it happen. All right. So we don't create content because it's trendy. We don't create content because it's easy. We create content that makes the thing happen. We want it to happen. And so we've got a very specific audience, right? Specific. We've got a specific thing we want to happen, okay? So there's one step we want them to take in any campaign. Now, a campaign, just so you're aware, could last a week, a month, a quarter, a year, multiple years in some of the bigger companies. So there's no problem with how long you run the campaign, but these measurements need to be in there. Specific audience, what do you want to actually happen? Are you measuring the result and creating content then to make it happen. Make it happen. Because if you're not doing that, then you're not doing social media marketing. If you're not doing this stuff, then you're out there going, I wonder what will do, I don't know what. I wonder what will cause people to come screaming and rushing at me. Funnily enough, if you don't have a marketing into sales system, then that's rarely going to happen. You've got to make sure you know what your sales system is. You've got to know where you want specific people to actually land into that system, and then you're going to go, all right, what can I do to cause that to happen? Now, for some people, that's going to be video. For some people, that's going to be podcasts. For other people, it's going to be like little outreach posts. For some people, it's going to be little questions that actually ask something specific. For others, it's going to be polls that you put out there that identify that this person may actually be needing your help. But unless you know the specific audience, you know what's going to happen, you're measuring that, and then you're doing the actual steps each day, each week, each month to make that happen, then it's not going to happen. And so that's kind of the point of today. If you're not clear about the steps, then there's no point in doing social media marketing. Because doing social media marketing for the purposes of authority and just making sure that you've got a position in the market is next to useless once you're already an expert. People know that you're good at that thing, right? They already know that. They don't need to be told over and over and over again that you're good at that thing. Top of mind doesn't need to happen by you just going, yes, I'm good at my thing. You've got to go to the specific audience and say, why does this matter to you? How can my good thing benefit you? How can my thing that I'm really good at help you step out of the pain that you're currently in? And then you need to do that very consistently and know how you're going to proceed with those people before you even get started. Now, I'm going to run an event on this in a couple of weeks' time. If you are interested in being invited to that event, put the comment below that you'd like to come. Just say yes to the event or something like that, right? If you're watching this in replay, put it in replay and put yes to the event as well. I'll send you a link to it. Now, what it's going to be is a 1-hour workshop where we're going to go through specifically what social media marketing campaign are you going to create. And then we're going to be talking about how you're going to go about launching it. All right, so that's one of the steps we're going to be doing. Now, here's another thing that I'm going to be doing very soon. I'm going to offer for, I think, only six people, the opportunity to actually go through and look at their social media sort of marketing in general. They'll tell me what the specific audience is. They'll tell me what they're looking for it to achieve. And I'll go through and look at the actual platforms that they want me to look at. And I'll give them some recommendations and highlight some areas for improvement and where they're doing well. All right. So you may or may not be interested in that. If you are interested in it, I'm not launching it yet, but maybe just DM me, say, hey, Russell, I'm interested in that that social media assessment. And then I'll put you on the short list, for when I actually do launch it. I'm probably going to be launching it next week. But watch out for that is my point. So if you want me to come in and have a look at the way you're doing your social media marketing, then let me know, because I'll be launching that either later this week or maybe into next. But these are the steps. If you got specific on your audience, if you know what you want to happen, if you're measuring the result and you're creating content that'll actually generate that result, then you'll be successful. That's as simple as that. The interesting thing is what content creates that thing to happen. But it's funny when you're specific about what do you want to happen, it makes life so much easier, because you're like, oh, well, that happened, I'll do more of that. This one didn't, so I'll do less of it. And you start funneling your way toward some really, really quality content. And what's cool about the whole thing is no one on the outside can tell. People can see you're active, but they don't know if it's working or not. And so that's what I want to help you do, is actually have it working behind the scenes. Because there's some little tricks that I'll show you in this workshop. They're about how do you make this not just be some visible process, but how do you turn it into sales behind the scenes? And that's what I'll show you in the workshop. So if you're interested in that, say yes to the event, put it in the comments. Otherwise, you'll probably see more about it as we go through this week and into next week. If you're still enjoying Easter, have a great time with your friends and family. I'm going to go back to, I think, the last few hours of my semi-Easter. It's not technically a public holiday today, but I'm going to go back to hanging out with the monkeys. So I will speak to you all soon. Stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.